First of all, introducing our challenger.
Coming out of the blue corner. He's going to step in, and he does. It's all over.
Let's bring on the boom.
This is Eternal MMA.
Good word, mixed martial arts fans. Thank you for joining me again on another episode of Eternal Insiders podcast, rejuvenated, fresh, and back for the year 2023. My name's Luke. I'm your host. Once again, very excited to be here. Very excited because we're joined by a very special guest today, a man that you'll all be very familiar with. He's a man that will be returning to fight the upcoming card in a couple of weeks for Eternal 73. He's a man that belongs to Scrappy MMA and Fitness. He's the man at the helm of the Costa Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy and Fitness. I'm talking, of course, about kickboxer Costa himself, Mr. Rod Costa. Rod, thanks for joining me today, man. How you doing?
Thanks for having me, Luke. Doing well yourself?
I'm doing very well, man. Now, it's been a little while since we've talked. I'm very happy to have you back on. This is a very exciting time for Scrappy MMA. I mean, obviously, we've got you coming up on the upcoming card for Eternal, but obviously, we've got Jack fighting on the card the next day in a great weekend for martial arts in Australia with UFC 284. This is a fantastic time for Scrappy MMA, is it not?
No, it's amazing. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good that we're fighting on the same cards. Not only is it a massive event for Perth and Australian MMA, but yeah, we have the Eternal card on the same weekend. So we've been training together, doing the camp together, and having this basically the same goal for the same weekend. So it's been awesome.
Yeah, of course it is. Very exciting to see it. And how's everything going at the Costa Academy as well?
Yeah, everything's going good. I do. I don't know if you talked about this before, but I do my morning trainings. We do the pro classes at Scrappy, and then I do my second session of the day at my gym for the grappling and focusing on jiu-jitsu. So it's going great, man. Numbers are good. Like the vibe is great. A lot of tough people, a lot of new people, so can't complain.
Now, moving ahead to your fight, of course, fans will know that we had a bit of a change of opponent, and we once again got to see the Costa mentality of anyone, anytime, anywhere on show. Tell us a little bit about how you found out that, unfortunately, Justin Van Heerden wouldn't be able to make it to the card and the subsequent switch in the opponent that you had. Tell us about how you found out about that and then the process that was involved in saying yes to the new opponent that you have coming up.
Yeah, I think this was a little bit different than the other ones that I took on short notice. And it's short notice for Sam as well, but it was a bit different because there's so much on the line. I was going to fight Van Heerden. We fought before, and it's going to be the double belt. That was really the main reason why I was going back up to featherweight. So I ended up taking the fight, but that was maybe the one time I was disappointed about the changes and things like that. And on top of that, there's been it wasn't like straight from Justin to Sam. There was like about 4 or 5 guys in between that said no, or the match didn't happen, and so it sucks. But again, like if you're a fighter, you got to fight, and I'm feeling healthy, I'm feeling good, so I feel letting go of the opportunity would be a lot worse than a change of opponent, But yeah, I just came to the gym one day, getting ready to train, and Ben pulled me aside, and you can just tell by the vibe that something was off, and he said that Justin got hurt, Yeah.
Very unfortunate, but of course we're glad that you're still on the card. And for the fans that don't know, Semakati Kikembo will be the opponent coming up, a man that's long been regarded as the future of the featherweight division. Now, having sort of that information, did that sort of play a factor into saying yes to that fight? You alluded to just now that you had a couple of other opponents that sort of turned it down. With Sam being the future of that division, did that sort of excite you? Obviously, we don't have the title fight coming up, but was this a chance to go up against someone who is considered the future and maybe a chance to, maybe remind the younger generation coming through who the man is still?
Not really. It's just a fight, It's good for me personally, because I know he's a good challenge, and I know he's a good fighter, and he's got a good record, and he's not someone that's getting brought over for me to beat up, So in that sense, it's played a part in that sense, but I don't really care about any of the other stuff, Like to be honest, I wasn't keen on taking this fight. I think it was the only fight that he can talk to Ben about this, but I think out of the top of my head, it's the only fight that I didn't instantly say yes to. I didn't say no to him, but I was like, fuck. Like, like I had this going on. It was a massive night, a massive goal. There was a historical event for me. And then he gets changed to this guy where Sam is like very tough, but he wasn't at the top of the division in terms of fighting for the belt, Doesn't mean he's not good enough and his skills are not there, but he was a tier below in terms of like he still had a couple of fights to go to get the belt. But I think I got to this opportunity of fighting for the belt and becoming the champion because other people gave me the opportunity and because I took the shots that were given to me. So I think looking at it from his perspective, that gave me a little bit of a pat in the back to be like, fucking, you said you fight anyone. Let's fight this guy, And I think whoever it was that Ben gave to me, I just didn't want to fight. I just didn't want to fight a fight that was obviously brought to me for me to win, Like you see there's a lot in MMA fighting, but they managed to fight a Filipino guy that hasn't fought in 5 years to get a fight here and there. That happens all the time. I didn't want that, So yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't a little bit upsetting, but not because of Sam, not because of whatever, It's just because I had a big opportunity at my hand, but the opportunity is still there. It's still UFC weekend. It's still a big night. It's still a lot of people coming down, and it's still a tough opponent, and that plays in my head, man. I don't want someone there I'm just gonna run over. Not at this point in my career. I fought guys that aren't that good. That's in the past, I don't ever want to fight someone that I don't feel is a good challenge anymore. So it's a good fight.
So just touching on that as well, based on what you know of Sam and what your coaches know of Sam, that knowledge based around him, what can you tell us in terms of the matchup stylistically, putting your skills against his? What can fans expect? Not talking about the result necessarily, but based on your sort of stylistic approach to his, like what do you sort of see? What do you sort of see playing out in the cage once you do step foot in there with him?
I'm not sure, to be honest. That's why this fight is really intriguing. I think he's a very well-rounded guy. I think if I'm not mistaken, he's one of the guys that started training MMA and not started training one aspect and then did MMA. So he started training everything together, like boxing, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu. So I see he's comfortable everywhere. I think he's going to come in comfortable, confident. He's got good jiu-jitsu, good wrestling. He's got very good stand-up. He's got good distance management. I think it would be a really good test. I'm kind of curious to see what his game plan is going to be, because I know he shoots a lot against his opponents. And that's the only thing that I'm curious about. Is he going to try and start the grappling with me, or is he going to try to keep me at a distance and try to win the fight like that, trying to hit me on the outside, But I'm not sure. We'll see. I'm intrigued by the matchup, to be honest, because he's very good. I think he might even try to take me down. There'll be a time in my career where people don't really care that I'm a jiu-jitsu black belt and just do everything, right? The higher you go up, the better the people you fight. People are gonna stop being like, "Oh, Rod's a black belt. I don't want to go to the ground with him." So maybe he's the guy to try and take me down. But I'm not sure. I'm intrigued as everyone, to be honest. We'll see.
Now, of course, fighting again in Perth, and fighting in Perth as a professional, especially under the Eternal banner, we're 5 for 5 in terms of your wins go, Rod. So obviously looking to make it 6 for 6. Like, how good is it for you to have like another home game, a continuous run of games at home for yourself in Perth? Fighting in front of familiar faces, being able to have your camp, of course, at home and not sort of have to travel too far. It's got to be a good omen, right? Like, how good is it to be able to fight at home in Perth? And tell us about how that might have contributed to your run of success.
It's very nice. Fighting Perth is very good. I think it's very good because I have won all of those fights. I think losing at home would be pretty disappointing. But I'm one of those guys that I try not to bite too much into that, because I don't want to have a positive or negative thought about fighting home or fighting away. I think either way, there's a positive and a negative associated to it. So if I fight away, for example, I think there's a little bit less pressure because my not a lot of family and friends are going to be there, you know. So you a little bit you seem as the underdog anyway. You're fighting the opponent's backyard, but then you're fighting against his supporter. You know, it's like either way you think of it. Like I can think of it as like, oh, it's really good for me to fight at home because everyone's going to be watching me. All of my friends are going to be there. But then on the other side of the coin is that there's a lot of pressure associated to all those people being there, and there's more pressure on you to win because you're the hometown guy. So it is very cool fighting at home, but I try not to. It's whatever, you know. Like I don't think I lost those other fights because I was fighting away. I think that's what happened in the cage. I think once he closes the door, everything else apart from everything else aside from the fight, it's whatever, you know. So I think it just turned out that I won I won all of the fights fighting Perth. Hopefully it stays that way forever. But I think it's just what it is, you know. It's a coincidence, yeah.
Now, I suppose the other beneficial thing to fighting in Perth is we know Scrappy MMA rolls deep into these cards, and we've got a lot of guys, you know, coming onto that card, especially when you look at through the amateur ranks. You know, guys like, you know, Liam Hoskin, Lawrence Whitesmith, Owen Tinkham, White Fraser, to name a couple. That actually might be all, but very exciting times for the youth coming through at Scrappy MMA as well, well represented there. What can you sort of tell us about those guys? Like, you know, is there someone that you could potentially single out, maybe a couple of guys that fans should be looking at in terms of the future of representing Scrappy MMA?
Yeah. I think everyone, obviously, I'm not going to sit here and talk about everyone, but if I have to point out a couple of the guys, like, I think Loza, you know, Lawrence Whitesmith, he's you know, he had a tough loss, the last one, very close fight, you know, probably could have gone either way, depending how you see the fight and how you score everything. So I think he's one to watch. You know, he does very well in the gym. We all know he's going to be a big name in the future if he keeps going with it, which he will. So I'm excited to see him, you know, and White as well, you know. I think he's coming off a loss, like a tough loss as well, or he had a loss recently or something. But those two boys are very good, very sleek. They look like professionals already when they fight, you know. So that's something else that I didn't even mention. But fighting at home is good for that point. You're in the back warming up. All of the boys are with you instead of just being you and two trainers in another city, you know. So that's actually a massive part that I forgot about. But yeah, the change rooms and the vibe, and like the atmosphere before you walk out it's amazing. So yeah, looking forward to everyone from Scrappy getting in there. Khan Diarra is gonna fight. Another Muay Thai guy is gonna be an amazing fight. Anyone that trains with Khan knows he's a beast. So yeah, I'm looking forward to watching everyone from Scrappy. I think those three guys I pointed out are the guys that are a little bit more at the top of the heap, and so I think that their matches mean a little bit more. But yeah, it'll be a good show for everyone.
Exciting times ahead indeed. Now, just back to yourself, you know, everything goes according to plan at Eternal 73 for you. Like, what do you see as sort of the next logical step? You know, obviously we had, you know, the missed opportunity of being able to, you know, fight for that featherweight belt. Still got a featherweight fight. We're the bantamweight champion now. Everything goes well for you coming up in this fight. What do you see potentially as the next thing? Do we want to come back and look at, you know, readdressing that fight with Justin Van Heerden again for that title? Do we maybe think of looking bantamweight, or is that something you're so far undecided on?
No, I'm actually decided on that one. I don't want to wait for Justin. I don't know really the extent of his injury or how long it will take to recover. But if I'm not fighting him for the double belt, I'm gonna stick at bantamweight because that's the end goal, right? I want to like hopefully get to the UFC, to one PFL, one of these promotions at bantamweight. So I want to make sure that the next few fights are at bantamweight. Just for the whole process, everything matters, right? The weight cut, the training with the lower weight. You know how you deal with that, how you deal with the weight cut, how you deal with rehydrating. All of that is a process that I need the most experience possible. You know, the higher level I fight. So my goal after this fight, is to keep fighting at bantamweight until I can get a shot at Van Heerden next. If when he's good to come back, I'm still around with the possibility of fighting for featherweight, I'll take that fight for sure. That's something I want. but other than that, I'm going to stick to bantamweight. Try to knock these guys down and try to make something big at that division. You know, I'm not a big bantamweight even. I feel like I need that experience at the low level. I wanted to do this fight once the fight fell off. I weighed myself to see, like, I think the best option for me would be to go down to bantamweight, defend my title. So at least it's another title defense. It means a little bit more, you know. But the problem with that is I was too heavy because I thought I was going to fight Justin. Justin's a big dude, he's long, so I wanted to be strong, you know. And the other problem is who are we going to get for bantamweight at such a short notice for a belt as well, you know. So we'll stick to bantamweight unless Ben Heaton is back in a way that I can fight him.
Now, just to round up talk on the upcoming fight. Now, speaking to you at length as I have in the past, I know you're not a man to necessarily make predictions about the upcoming fight, but give us a bit of an idea. In a perfect world, everything goes correctly for you coming up on this card, Eternal 73. How would you like to get the job done?
Submission, always submission. So hopefully he shoots. I get him with something, and the night's done quick. But I feel it's gonna be a tough match. I think we're both gonna get tested in there. I think he'll bring the dog out of me, and I'm ready for it.
Just one last thing. Were you planning on being at UFC 284 in Jack's corner?
I'm not gonna be in the corner, but I'll be there. Me and Beck are gonna be on watching on the side, but we're not in the corner. Yeah. So
we have tickets.
Can't wait to go there. It'll be good. Yeah, I got tickets. Yeah, we got tickets.
It's going to be a huge weekend for martial arts, of course. You know, like from a local perspective and from an international perspective. You know, just a massive weekend combined, and hopefully a lot of people get to go and see both. It all goes down for Rod at Eternal 73, February 11th. You can still get your tickets, of course, at eternalmma.com. If you're not attending in person, you know you want to watch it on UFC Fight Pass, that main card live and exclusive. He's been Kickboxer Costa. Always love having a chat to him. Rod, thank you so much for your time. Much appreciated, man. All the best at your fight coming up at Eternal 73, and we'll see you on the other side, my friend.
Thanks, Luke. Always good having a chat with you as well, and looking forward to the weekend. I'll see you there.
Likewise, brother. See you then.
See you, brother.